Good evening, my viewers. This is one of my special shows where I have Meet the Candidates. And tonight we're in Peekskill, New York at Cablevision, which is Altice now, and I have two fine gentlemen who are running for the Democratic ticket or for the Democratic nomination on September 12th in Peekskill for City Council, Mr. Robert Sullivan and Louis Segarra. I'd like you to introduce yourself to my audience and let them know why you're running for office this year.
Okay, well, I'll start.
You start.
I'm running for office because, I've been involved in my own community. I live in the Woods 3 in Peekskill. I've been active on the board there for almost 25 years. And I saw that Peekskill is going forward. I've been here 29 years, and it always seemed like it was going up a hill, in a snowfall and just not quite making it. But I saw that the past several years, or past 4 years with Mayor Catalina, the city seems to be getting going. It's moving forward, development. I wanted to be a part of that. And I was asked by the mayor after a common council meeting in which I brought up some issues relating to my community, the water meter issue, if you will.
Yes. I want you to expand on the water meter issue.
Well, it was very simple. The city was installing these high-tech water meters in every home because they are designed to capture, better capture the water usage. But for condominiums and apartment buildings and commercial businesses, because they have a particular size meter, we would be required to pay for them. So when we received a bill at the Woods for $70,000, we sort of decided that that would probably not be a good thing. We actually spoke with the city. And that cost came down a little bit, about $25,000 to $30,000. But I actually read the water code, and I looked at it and said, you know what? We're not supposed to pay for these things because they were being replaced because they were inadequate, that they were not reading properly. And specifically under the code, it's the city's responsibility to pay for them. So I joined together with a couple other condominiums, Society Hill 2, Chapel Hill, The Meadows, Society Hill, a couple of other smaller condominiums up in the area of Society Hill. And we band together and we went before the council and made our point.
And in the interest of full disclosure, everyone knows I've been on the air 20 years and I'm a Peekskill resident. And for that, I thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
You're most
I live in Society Hill too, and I had also heard of that. And I'm also a community activist besides being a talk show host.
But it benefited more than just condominiums, commercial
business.
buildings, whatever particular size. It was after a meeting, the mayor approached me and said, look, you've been very active in some of these issues in the city. And he said, would you be interested in running for office? And, I told the mayor, I said, look, I'm a registered Democrat. He said, well, I don't care. Just you're smart. You have taken on some of these issues. So if you're interested, and I spoke, of course, at length with them, discussed it with my wife. And
so what you feel is, no matter what party, it's Peekskill first. Peekskill people should come first, and we should be all united and work together.
It's what the mayor has stood for, and the team, and the progress he's made. We have a platform that has nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats. It's the betterment of Peekskill, and I think that Mayor Catalina and Joe Torres.
Two fine gentlemen.
Excellent gentlemen, and quite frankly, contrary to public opinion, I never met them until I started going before the Common Council and discussing issues about water meters. And obviously now we're well acquainted and we're friends and running mates. But I just thought that their view of how to move Peekskill forward was something I wanted to be a part of, and I think I can contribute to that team, and that's why.
And you and I have been living in Peekskill the same amount of years, just about, because in 1989, my wife and I moved up from Yonkers and bought a house, a condo in Society Hill 2, Peekskill. Yeah. And we're very proud of the rise in Peekskill, especially over the last 4 years.
So we've seen it go both ways. I've been here 29 years like you. I was one of the original owners in the Woods, and it always seemed to be getting going somewhere. And quite frankly, when Mayor Testa ended his term, we went into the Foster administration. We weren't, the wheels were spinning a little more on Hudson Street. Once the Foster administration ended, we're starting to get traction, and that momentum is going. And I think
you can see it on North Division Street with the businesses that have opened. You can see it with the development we're starting to have of the Ginsburg project.
But more than what we perceive, Louis and I have gone door to door, met with people, Democrats,
shook hands,
pressed the flesh, Absolutely, and they agree.
But we haven't heard it all from Louis here. Louis Segarra, how are you doing, Mr. Segarra?
Good, thank you, George.
Why have you decided to run this year for public office? I know you're a successful business owner in Peekskill for 23 years. You've been a Democrat, what, most of your life?
I've been living in Peekskill for 23 years. And if not for myself, my 2 kids, and for my granddaughter, and my brothers and sisters who I've helped move up to Peekskill, I want a better Peekskill. I do have a company here. I run 3 businesses.
Wow.
Our headquarters are in Peekskill, New York. We have offices in Harlem and Wall Street.
Wow.
And we employ over 100 individuals. We give them access to health care, good wages, our 401k program. I think that's essential for all employees of any company to have. My businesses are in diversity, and one of the things we do is we help businesses and residents in the employment and in the participation of construction projects in their communities. So I think I can bring that over to here to Peekskill. So when developers and businesses come in, we need a plan from them to find out how they're going to benefit the businesses and the residents, and not just themselves. So I want to bring that experience, that compassion to the city to help what we've already begun doing. But we need to do it at a better pace, a faster pace, is the progression and the great things that are happening in Peekskill.
And you've lived in Peekskill how many years?
I've been here 23 years.
With your lovely wife of how many years?
I've been married to my wife 25 years. We've been dating 34 years ago.
Wow.
And she is, she is the source of what makes me go. Every morning I get up wanting to do better things for her and my family.
How do you feel about the people of Peekskill and how we all get along together? We have a very diverse city.
We have a very diverse city. It's a great city, the best people I've met. And going along with Bob, door to door, you just get to meet the people and you
Right.
get to interact with them, and they'll tell you their stories. You get invited inside, and
We're friendly people.
And they're the friendliest people, and you just want to do more for them. And you come out of their houses and you say, I've got to work harder. I got to do more. I've got to make sure that they're represented in this city the way they should be. So that's what gets me going.
Bob, how do you feel about seniors? A big block of voters in Peekskill are seniors,
Well, I feel very favorable towards George because yesterday I got my Medicare card. So
You
I'm a
did. You're
senior
much
myself.
too young to get a Medicare
No,
card.
unfortunately I do. Look, seniors, we've all had parents, we've all had aging parents. They're what made this community, and we owe them a great deal.
And we have a lot of seniors in Peekskill.
We do indeed, and we need to make sure that they're comfortable, that they have recreational services, that they have nutritional services, that they have access to services they may need. I had the situation with, my dad was 86 years old, and he was very fortunate. We were capable and able to get him what he needed, towards the end of his life. So I think, while folks are still vital, it's important to have. We owe them. It's as simple as that.
How do you feel about seniors in Peekskill, Mr. Segarra? I know you're a lot younger
I'm
than
just
us
about,
guys.
Just about there. My in-law who's a senior here in Peekskill, and the whole group of seniors in Peekskill.
You'd support senior programs if you're allowed.
They have more energy than I do. They're really the machine that turns this city, and we have to make sure they have the services they need because we owe a debt of gratitude to them. and for what
One of
they've done.
these days I might join them. I'm only 39 plus a year or two. No, actually, I'm 75 years young, guys.
God bless
And,
you.
Good.
I care about my city, and that's why I do programs such as this. How do you feel about our veterans, and how would you help veterans if you were elected to the council?
I think,
in Peekskill?
obviously the city is not the main source of services, the county
Right,
and
the
the state,
federal
and certainly
government.
the VA. I am a veteran, I'm a Navy veteran. I enlisted in the Navy during the Vietnam War. My brother was a Vietnam veteran. My dad was a World War II veteran.
And I'm a Vietnam
And
veteran.
I know you're a Vietnam veteran. I think it's important to make sure that we have the ability to direct them access to their services. I think the other aspect of what's important for veterans, all of us get a tax reduction from our city taxes. But I understand, looking at the tax bill, the school district does not give us the same.
They give us
benefits.
1/4 of what we're supposed to be
Correct.
getting.
That's important. When you're a veteran, you've given up a portion of your life. I was a young man. I got out of college. I went overseas, but that was 3 years of my life where I wasn't developing a career, where I wasn't going to school. And so when you come out, you're a little bit behind the 8 ball. And so you certainly, we owe, whether they served in combat or Afghanistan or Iraq, or they were in the naval station in Keflavik, whatever it is, they're on that front line. They kept, and certainly when I was in, we kept Western Europe free. We kept the dictator Gaddafi from closing off half the Mediterranean because we're Americans. We do that, and we send young men overseas to do this. We send them into combat. When they come back, they deserve the best medical care. They deserve the best reference to any services they need. I went through law school on the GI Bill. I couldn't have gone through law school without it.
And I went through Pace University BBA under the disabled Vietnam Bill.
So you get me talking about veterans. I'm very passionate about it. My brother as well went through college on the GI Bill. So,
Louis, how do you feel about immigration programs in America? I know that's a tough question.
It's really not a tough question. It's like I tell people, we are a country of law.
Right.
And we understand the plight of immigrants. We understand, a lot of stuff out there going through. And we have to be compassionate to their struggles. But we also have to do it in a way that respects our laws. Other than that, we will become a country of chaos.
Right.
And we are different in most countries. We do need people who can give their time as pro bono to help them with the issues that immigrants do have. We need to call on our Congress people to make sure they change the laws that make immigration much easier and more understandable for a lot of our immigrants. But when we look at it all, we are a country of laws and we have to respect those laws. Other than that, they won't respect the country.
What are some of the more of the reasons why you decided to run? You told me the economic part of with development, you could help a lot.
Right. In my capacity, I deal with a lot of developers and construction managers in the city of New York. We deal with them on diversity in most of the major construction projects in New York City. And I feel the developers that are coming into Peekskill, they can be a little bit more helpful.
You know what would be nice? I'm going to make a suggestion now. We're putting up something like 1,000 new units of housing. A lot of it is middle class and upper housing. But we're going to other cities to buy at a major store. Maybe in the future we can attract a major store to Peekskill. Would you be in favor of that?
I would be in favor, and one of the things I would ask those developers is when they come in to give us a plan on how they're going to get the local businesses involved, how they're going to get the local residents involved, and how they plan to become part of the fabric of this city.
Yes.
So what are they going to give back, not just take from our city?
How do you feel about city workers in the city of Peekskill? Do you feel people, Bob, should live within the city if they're department heads?
I'm not certain that should be a requirement to live in the city necessarily.
Okay.
But
you want the best people, right?
Want the best people, but here's the thing. You're asking someone who is the son of civil servants. My dad was a mailman. My mother typed index card, the Dewey Decimal System in a library. So I have an appreciation for the people that go out and pave our roads and pick up our garbage.
I do too.
And maintain our water systems. So, but when you're talking about the workforce of the city, it should also reflect
and
the
they're
makeup of the city
excellent
as
in
well.
Peekskill, yes.
Yeah.
It should be a diversified workforce, which we do have.
Yeah, but they certainly do the lion's share. And it goes across the board in our police department as well. These guys do a tremendous job. We are a city.
Chief Eric Johansson does a tremendous job.
You got to keep him. He's a prize. There's no doubt about it. But they do a great job. This is a city where you can walk the streets, you can go downtown at night, you feel safe. And that's due a great deal in part to the police department. So when you're talking to general city workers, they do a great job. And sometimes they're a little overstretched, and we ask for a little more of them, but they give everything to us.
By the way, I want to get back to the veterans tax exemption you talked about.
That was actually Bob.
Okay, Bob. In other cities, they've given that full exemption. We have a school board here, and one of the members is running against you guys, who's only given a quarter of it, and they told me it would be too expensive to the other taxpayers of Peekskill. Listen to this, but they're about to do a nationwide search for a new school superintendent, which could cost $50,000. That amount of money would cover the full benefit for the 300 disabled and combat zone veterans that property tax
Well, look, the
exemption?
finances of the school board, that's certainly in their prerogative, but look, I'm looking at it from the entitlement of the veterans. And you're a disabled veteran, you're a veteran, you're
Of a
entitled
combat
to
zone.
that. You're entitled to that. Many states, by the way, you don't have to pay for your driver's license, you get all these
Right, right.
entitlements. Yeah, I recognize it's expensive, but you know what? So is war, and some of these guys come back disabled. They gave a lot more than just money, so.
And even support troops, no matter where they are in the world. If they've served their country, they deserve their benefits too.
I think
And they
so.
deserve a raise
I
too.
think so.
How do you feel about the youth of Peekskill, Mr. Segarra? And can we do more for them in the future?
Absolutely. I think our programs are inadequate.
Would you expand the youth?
Absolutely. That's one thing that needs to be expanded. We need to expand out our after-school programs. We have to do more. It's a changing community. So we need not just baseball fields, we need soccer fields.
How
for our
about
individuals.
basketball fields, midnight basketball games? In my old home city, we had a PAL program and a boxing program
That's-
sponsored by the city, and we had PAL where the policemen, and our policemen are good, actually took young people to ball games like the Yankees or the Mets.
Growing up, I was part of PAL as well. They used to close down the streets in our neighborhoods and let us play all day during the summer. I let the cars go through, and it was more of an interaction of our community with the police force. So we got a respect for them, and they got to know us a little better. So that was always a great program.
Bob, September 12th is primary day.
It is the Democratic primary.
Democratic primary or Independence Party primary in other cities.
But not for us, because Louis and I are endorsed by
Yes.
the Independence Party.
Right,
But it's
right.
a Democratic primary.
And you're endorsed by several parties.
Correct.
Okay. So no matter what happens on the 12th, you will be
We will be on the ballot.
On the ballot.
But we're entitled, and we
Yes.
fought to get on the Democratic ballot.
And there's news on it today in the fine newspaper, the Examiner.
Well, oddly enough, George, we're sitting here speaking tonight. I should be in Albany because tomorrow morning I have to be in Albany, and this
Wow.
is not known that the Democratic machine
Uh-huh.
has made an application to the Court of Appeals, the state's highest court, to kick us off the ballot.
But you've been a Democrat all your life.
I've been a Democrat since 1970, and what I see on Facebook, a lot of vulgarities.
Vulgarities?
Yeah, vulgarities, George. Scum, slime,
What?
shady, and requests that we change our party because we're running with with people on another
But you're
party.
running on a united party.
We are. We have 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats.
That's
and
the way Washington should get along. You know,
It-
our Congress should work together, not apart.
It is
like
the way,
what's been happening.
but to be fought by, and quite frankly, we've been fighting the Westchester County Democratic machine. We ran into a buzzsaw when we undertook this. We got the requisite number of signatures, and they fought us. And you know what they fought us? This is not your parents' party. They fought us on 60 signatures that were gathered by a college student, okay? The college student, they misspelled her name in the voting records, and they couldn't confirm that she was a registered voter and a registered Democrat. In a hearing down in Supreme Court, when it was established unequivocally that she was a registered Democrat, that would have given us the 60 signatures, principle would have dictated that our party should have said, you know what, you're on the ballot. Oh no, oh no. They went forward. We had to go to the appellate division where I represented myself against 2 fancy lawyers by the Democratic Party, and we beat them 5-0, and Louis and I are on the ballot. Now I have to go up to Albany, and I got to fight them again. This is our party. I've been a Democrat since 1970. I have the right to run on that party. I don't have to change my affiliation. I'm not going to.
And if elected in November, you wouldn't be favoring any party, you'd be favoring the people of Peekskill, it sounds
Well,
like.
you know, our platform indicates that, George. You know, how can you be against improving our parks? How can you be against getting an education coalition? These are all the things that are on our platform, on our website.
How about
On our
fiscal
website.
responsibility and keeping taxes as low as possible?
George, again, look at our website, and we've said that we were going to keep taxes static. How can you be against
What
that?
do you mean static? What do you mean by
Static. Keep them at a level.
Oh,
Keep 'em
below the,
below the tax cap, if that's, yeah, correct.
why don't you
Absolutely.
do something revolutionary and come out with an actual tax cut? I guarantee you the the election. Forget about the fund balance.
Simple reason, George, because the Democrats, the members of our party, controlling, and when they had a Democratic
right.
mayor, ran this town almost into bankruptcy.
I know. The fund
You know,
balance
Mayor,
went down to almost zero.
$7,500, and so
Wow.
you can't run a city like that. Had we undergone good fiscal management during those years, we wouldn't have had these issues.
God forbid we ever had an emergency like Texas is having today. $7,500 wouldn't pay for anything,
You
right?
get a tire on a fire truck, probably.
I hear it's,
That's about
what, over $1 million now, or $2 million? Oh,
But
it's
it-
getting up
Over
there.
2 million.
it. Yeah, but again, you know, we're
That's
Democrats.
under the sponsorship of Frank Catalino, our fine mayor.
That's right, but we are Democrats, and again, the thing that really gets us is this fight. And again, you know, they talk about, they use this phrase that was from Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. You haven't seen anybody on our ticket personally attacking anybody. You haven't seen our supporters talking about my height and things of that nature.
What?
Yeah, I have to have a waiver to get on the
See,
county
I don't
council.
go on Facebook, so
Well,
I
you
don't know
shouldn't.
all this dirt that's going
But
on.
look,
And
let's have a discussion.
I've been a Democrat, I've been a Republican. I'm basically an independent-minded thinker and voter, and I want the best people in. I don't care what
And
party
just to
they're
add to that, George, I am a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat.
proud like.
And like my mother's Democratic Party, we're able to go across the aisle.
That's
and
beautiful.
work with the other team to get things done. Not stalemate issues that benefit the city. We want to move the city forward. And if I have to sit down with the mayor and the Republicans and other Democrats.
And the Democrats.
That's right, absolutely. To work things out where we get together, come to a conclusion that moves Pisco forward. That's what it's all about, and only about that.
Remember that if we get elected, and I'm elected to the council, I will be a Democrat. Simple
will
as that.
be.
We both will.
That's right.
And we're
I
not
heard
changing
you're
our
both
party.
going to be Peekskillites. Is that it?
No, we already are.
Absolutely.
So
We believe in local politics.
I
There
heard
isn't
you
any
believe in
parties.
Peekskill. Is that true? I'm writing a
That's-
song
that's
for
really the
that,
only party
and a
that
Joni
matters.
Blondell is going to be singing it as an intro, and that's true. I believe in
happy
Peekskill.
days are here again.
She's been a guest on my show, and a very fine. She sounds a lot like what's her name, Dolly Parton.
Sure.
Yeah, if you ever heard her sing Jolene, Out of This World.
A lot of folks don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Are we getting near the end of the show, gentlemen?
tell me.
If people want to reach you, how can they reach you? You have a website or a contact number?
Do you have a website? They can make a contact to our campaign headquarters over on Division Street, and we're happy to answer any questions, anything anybody wants to know.
If on election day a person needs a ride to the polls, can you accommodate
Just
them?
give us a call. We can get them. We can get
Well,
them.
who should they call? What number or what website?
They could call. They could call our headquarters, and they could contact our
I
headquarters.
think we have that listed up there.
Absolutely. And George, as they see us knocking on their door, we're just there to let them know what we're rooting, what we're doing, and what we want to do for the city.
How you want to help the city make it a
Absolutely.
better place. Is
So they're
that
going to
it?
see us quite a bit, and we're happy to go.
I haven't
door
seen you
asking
yet up in
questions.
Society Hill too. Have you? No, I have.
You were up there
I
last
have,
night,
yeah.
George.
You were?
We
Oh.
were.
Went all through.
Oh, I know why you didn't see me. I might not be registered in the same party as you were going to see because it's primary time.
But,
but
we
it's
were,
ha-
but we
yeah.
were reaching out to
No,
Democrats,
that's
and again,
important.
we're getting the
You-
backflow.
Well, both
We're
of
getting
you
the
are lifelong Democrats.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And we're getting the flow back. And people are happy with the way things are going in the city,
Right,
and they want
right.
to go forward. So we're positive.
You
about
don't
it.
like negativism, right? I see a certain party seems to be very negative, looking for something wrong rather than moving us forward. It sounds like division, not united, Pete
There's
Skill.
no need and no use for that. And when you don't have a platform to say anything positive, they go negative. So we'll let them do what they do, and we'll keep the high road.
When
talk
I
about
see
the positive
people at a
things that
city
Pisco.
council meeting ready to jump on people for a wrong phrase or something to try to take them down, that's wrong. And I'll use an example. Somebody said the word shouldn't be used, thugs, about someone who beat somebody up in Peekskill. What I won't use the word hell. What the hell is that person if not a thug? If you get a baseball bat and almost beat a man to death and then a judge lets him off.
Yeah. But look,
Not let him off, but let him out on bail initially. But I think they're in jail now, and it's where they should be for the next 15 or
certain
20
words are
years.
offensive to certain people, so we have to just make sure we use the right wording to say what we
Right.
want to say. We
Right.
can keep those words out because they are negative words,
Okay,
and we prefer not to use them.
okay. Gentlemen, I can't believe how the time has flown by tonight. And by the way, I'm a fair-minded person. I give people of all parties the opportunity to come on my show and meet the candidates. So anyone who's out there watching, they're perfectly welcome.
Thank you. for
It's
having
been
us.
an honor having you tonight,
Thank
Mr.
you, George.
Sullivan.
It's a pleasure, John.
Same thing with
Thanks,
you,
man.
Mr. Segarra. And a final 30 seconds to my audience.
well, September 12th is the Democratic primary. I'm a Democrat. Luis is a Democrat. Take a look at our resumes. Take a look at our background. Take a look at our achievements. And you make the decision as to who you want on the Common Council to represent Peekskill. I think it's an easy decision, and I'd like you to come out and cast your vote.
Thank you again, Mr. Sullivan. Thank you again, Mr. Segarra. Until next time, remember the most important thing in the most important election is primary day. Get out there and vote, 6 to 9 a.m. What's the date again?
September 12th.
September 12th, and vote the right people in. I won't tell you who that is, but
I'll tell you.
thank you.
Robert Sullivan and Louis Segarra. We need your support.
Thank you. Thank you both, gentlemen.
Thank you.